Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Gangsta Rap Odyssey. This is your host, JR Megatron, here with episode number 2. We did the New Music Monday. Those kind of are just special episodes, just one-offs. But here we got our second album to go over, and it's The Legacy by Lil Eazy-E and Daz Dillinger. This just came out in 2023. Usually I like to go over old school albums, but these guys are old school. I consider them old school, And this album does have physical copies. I did not get my hand on one, but I wanted to check it out anyways. Let you guys know what I thought track by track. The Legacy, Lil Eazy-E, he's been doing records. Well, he's got some tracks here and there. But not a full-length album that I'm aware of. We all know Daz Dillinger, the legendary producer from LBC, DPG, Death Row, and beyond. He needs no introduction, am I right? So, Lil Eazy, he's got another brother named E3 that we'll see on this record. He's got a sister who also does music. I don't think it's really hip hop music, and I think she tried to come out a movie, kind of a conspiracy theorist movie about her father, of course, the legendary Eazy-E, rest in peace. And here he is now working with Daz Dillinger, kind of a union of Ruthless Records and DPG, if you will. I don't know if Ruthless Records is in business anymore, but they do have a website. And, Lil E is talking about Ruthless Records a lot on this record, or on this album. He talks about it like he owns it, or like he's repping it, or it's, just alive and kicking, man. I appreciate it. I like it. I think it's pretty dope that he does that. I would love to see a resurgence of Ruthless Records, the same way Death Row Records might be finding a resurgence for itself under Snoop Dogg's ownership. I don't know if that's going to happen. I did go to the Ruthless Records website and I contacted them, just asking them, who owns this? Is there plans? Can I get some info? But I have not heard anything back yet. We'll see what happens though. That being said, let's talk about this record, man. It starts off with the Legacy here, with RBX of all people, man. So if you've been missing RBX's voice, you'll get your fix on this track. And I like the voice that's used, that effect, that, it's something that Eazy-E used to use a lot in his later days. We heard it on Straight Out the Streets of Motherfucking Compton and Bone Thugs and Harmony. And now we're getting it here on The Legacy. So it's very Eazy-E-ish. It's kind of a nod to him. It's cool, man. It starts off like it's a hype beat, Like this is just getting you right into it. I wouldn't even call it an intro, really. It's a full-length track. And it's pretty cool to hear Daz go through the history of Death Row and even Ruthless Records, talking about the tree, It's really like talking about the legacy of Ruthless Records, Eazy-E, and, the impact it had on California and the world, really. They're listing off the NWA members on the track, and some of the Death Row members, or DPG members if you want to get picky about it, I guess. I don't think Lady of Rage, let's see if Lady of Rage gets mentioned here. The Doc does get mentioned, the DOC, Snoop Dogg, Dog Pound, Rage, yep, RBX even, Jewel even, damn. Nate Dogg, of course. Anyways, it's kind of like Death Row and Ruthless, or NWA at least, because there's no names like Crooked Eye or Bone being mentioned here. So I get it, though. They're going for more of the closer NWA tree, even though you could argue that Bone Thugs is closer to the NWA tree than DPG. But that's all right, man. We're not here to split hairs and nitpick. It's a great way to start off the record, though. It's a pretty hype beat, man. You know, it's a good way to start it. I got to give it a thumbs up here. So I think we can move on to the next track here. Compton and Long Beach. So this is Lil E, Daz Dillinger. Who we got here? Featuring Big Pimpin'. I'm trying to see if that's his full name. Big Pimpin', Delamont, and Delia Riley. All right, man. It's kind of a smooth beat, you know. It's got that, you know, Death Row. What they love doing are having those smooth radio voices for some of their vocals. And this is another mesh track, but it's Compton and Long Beach. And I'm not sure what the beat is back there or the sample, but I heard it on DJ Yella's One Mo to Go album. It's pretty dope, though. I like the beat. This is one of my favorite tracks on here. It's really just a unification again. Compton and Long Beach. If there was any beef between Compton and Long Beach, I think that's been long squashed. It might have been a thing back in the 90s when you had Eazy versus Death Row, really, which was probably just Snoop Dogg versus Eazy. I wouldn't say that there was like from what I know, I don't know if there was a big beef, but maybe just little digs at each other, but it was more like a competitive thing, you know. I like the song, though. One of my favorite songs here. Hella dope beat. It's crazy to hear Lil Eazy use his dad's name on here, though. I mean, I can't hate. That's his dad, but it is weird, you know. And I think that's because Eazy-E's name is so meaningful and historic that when you got somebody saying I'm Eazy-E, it's like, well, no, you're not. But Lil Eazy-E, okay. I mean, he has a right to if anybody does, right? And I think we can be real that, you know, we don't expect Lil Eazy to be as big or legendary as his father was. Or anybody. It's hard for anybody to step in those shoes. I mean, not everybody can be Eazy, Suge Knight, or these other big time like Puff Daddies, you know, these CEOs of these big ass record labels that put their stamp on the map forever. Anyways, it's a cool track, man. It's pretty dope. It's kind of smooth. I think it's one of the better songs on here for sure. It's one of my favorites. So, all right, next track here, track number 3, 8 Ball Sippin'. It's I love this. I love the throwback and the nods that they're given to the just the 80s or NWA, the whole saga, the legacy. You got some familiar samples here from Boys in the Hood, from Straight Outta Compton. Just a lot of familiar nods here. Some lyrics. The hook that they're using is just an Eazy-E verse. It's a great throwback to Eazy. It's dope. You know, I love the nod to the Raiders hat. You know, you gotta love the Raider hats. It's a total throwback, man. They got some OG lyrics. The hook is dope. Eazy's well represented in this track, and Daz giving props to Ruthless Records is also pretty dope, you know. It's crazy. They talk about Ruthless Records like it's back to life. And like I said, man, you can go to ruthlessrecords.com and see that there's something there, even a store. But there's just something strange about it, man. It's not completely legit, but maybe it is. I mean, I know it didn't take forever to make that website. Not dissing it. I like that there's a stamp on the web for Ruthless Records still. But when it's updated like that or it's different, I'm just like, what's going on, you know? It reminds me back in the day when I used to check ruthlessrecords.com all the time to see what was new, what was coming. Is there something coming, you know? Those were the days, man. I love this track, though. You can ride to this one, man. This one will get you hyped up here, man. This is total nod to Eazy-E, Eric Wright, man. It's a dope track, though. I get it. Let's go back. Let's go to the next one. Track 4 here, Riding, featuring Kid Capri. I was never a big Kid Capri guy, so I don't know much about his history of producing and rapping. I think the track is decent, though. It's nothing too extraordinary, but, you know, they're doing their thing. And I'll give it a listen, you know, with an open mind here. It definitely feels a little out of left field for this record. In a record that is so short, I mean, 12 tracks isn't like an EP, but it isn't like a big length 17 track album either. It has more of an impact on a record that's of this size. So it feels, if it's out of place or it's not Daz produced, you can tell it's kind of magnified. And I don't know if this is a Daz beat, but because Kid Capri's here, I have a feeling that Kid Capri has his hands all over the beat. But, you know, Eazy-E, Lil Eazy-E comes correct on here. For somebody who hasn't had a record or much experience in the spotlight, he's doing pretty good so far. So let's go to the next track here, though. We'll talk about Just Like G's, featuring De La Riley again and Julio G. Julio G's on the intro, of course. I don't think he has... this sounds like a Daz beat for sure. I don't think this is Julio G at all. And if I remember correctly, Julio G and Tony G used to get into the production... get into some production with Ruthless Records and Eazy. I'd have to do a wiki look on that. But let's talk about this track, Just Like G's. This totally reminds me of a summer track. It's definitely a summer track. You know, you're cruising down, windows down, cruising down the street with your windows down. You know, it's June, July. This is that type of vibe. It gives me that in California type of feeling from Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back. And you know, Lil Eazy-E, he's doing just fine on this record so far. You know, let's be real. He's not as experienced as a real veteran rapper, but his effort is on point so far. And you know, I've heard him every now and then on a new track, but here with his chance to finally shine, he's doing all right. And I dig this track. And I love what they're talking about here, man. It's just, hey, this is just another day in California, man. Who doesn't love a good California track? Am I right? So, a gangsta groove. It is a Daz beat, as verified by Lil Eazy-E on his verse. So, it's a dope track though, man. I give it a thumbs up here. It has a great place on this record. I feel like every Daz album or Daz project needs a song like this. Just that good old California vibe, you know? So I love it. Let's move on to the next track here. Number 6 here, Pussy So Good. Just Lil Eazy and Daz Dillinger here, you know. This is I don't know, is this the token pussy track? It starts off, you know, I don't know, you know, people just doing it and stuff. You know, you know what you're getting when you hear this. It's like, okay, this wasn't that creative really, but you know, you can't hate. It's all right. If I had to be honest though, I'm gonna skip this track. I mean, it's cool. They flexing their mic skills. You know, every track's or every CD's got to have that pussy record, right? And that's all I can really say. That it is what it is. You know, the beat's okay. The hook is kind of annoying, but you know, to each their own. I don't know. You might like the song a lot. It's alright, but I don't know. I think Daz could have done a little better on this beat and the hook. Um, Either way, though, we got the pussy track for the record. Let's go ahead and go to the next track here. What's the Business? Featuring Kevin Slow Jam and James, Nani, and I don't know who else. Jeez, all these long names, man. Let me get this. I got to stretch my window for the features on this one, man. I'm gonna get it here in a minute, though. Okay. Kevin Slow Jam and James, Nani, McLeod, and of course Daz Dillinger and Lil Eazy. Name of the song is What's the Business? Hey, I gotta say it's cool to hear Kevin Slow Jam and James. It's dope to hear his voice here. He's got that typical radio voice that you've heard on some DPG records, saying W balls. It's an upbeat song though. I dig it. A lot of Ruthless Records, DPG reppin', CPT in Long Beach, United. It's cool, man. And Kevin Slow Jam and James gives props to Eazy-E and kind of tells us it's an honor to be working with his son. He's worked with Eazy and now he's working with Lil Eazy. Not a lot of people can say that. So that's cool, man. What's the Business? What the business? It's a feel-good track. I can't even lie. I wouldn't even skip it, man. I like it. It's one of them Daz tracks. And you know what? Daz sounds pretty good, man. I know he's up there in the age. I mean, just a little older than me. And I think I'm up there in the age. But he's doing it good, man. I gotta say his beats and his flow are on point. You know, when you hear Daz or you hear his music right now, you're not saying it's time to retire, you know? Or you don't notice that his voice is completely different. Like, if I compared this to his earlier work, like maybe Raw or Retaliation, yeah, maybe I could tell the difference in his voice and flow and beats, but he's had a good continuous career, and sound-wise, he still sounds consistent Daz. So what's the business, man? What's the business? All right, let's move on to the next track here called Easy, and this is Lil Eazy, Daz Dillinger. Oh shit, I tell you, this track right here is bumping. This is that gangsta shit by Daz. And there's a lot of homage to the OG or to, there's a lot of homage on this whole record entirely, of course. But it was pretty cool to hear Trey D get a little props on here, man. Because he's always been recognized in my eyes as a fucking real gangsta. One of the few real fucking gangstas that just, you know, you're walking down the same side of the street and Trey D's coming at you on that street. You might go to walk across the street or whatever. I don't know, man. Guy is big. Guy's a real G. It's a bold track though. It's cool, man. This is on some of that old school Daz shit. I wonder how many of these songs or these beats were recorded years ago, you know, and Daz is just pulling them out now. I don't know. But I dig it. I dig this track. This is definitely one of them gangsta tracks. I can't really pinpoint if I feel like this song was on another record, though. You can't really tell. He might have pulled this out from the vault and cleaned it up. You know? Who knows, man? But this is definitely vintage Daz. You gotta love it. It's dope. Eazy has a good flow here. This might be his best flow. This is definitely one of the crown jewels of the record. What can you say, man? Easy. And it has a dope name, doesn't it? Easy. So yeah, that's track 8, Easy. Let's go on to the next track, Gangsta Memories. This one has cocaine. And you know, I don't even have to tell you it has cocaine. You don't even have to see it. You can just hear cocaine. Legendary, of course. Cocaine, Daz, and Easy. Lil Eazy-E. I'm going to try to say it like Kevin Slow Jam and James. Lil Eazy-E. Nailed it, right? All right. So this is a funky track, man. It's cool. It's kind of a beat. And you got to love having some cocaine on the hook here. Kind of even rapping, really. To G or not to G. Anyways, gotta love him for having cocaine on here. He sounds good. The beat is dope. Their flows are dope. You know, these are more throwback lyrics. You gotta love Daz giving props to AZ and Nate Dogg. Some legendary respect to our fallen MCs like Tupac, Biggie, even Gangsta Boo. It's a laid-back, funky track. And this is just one of those tracks that hits a checkbox. You know, it's like, all right, we got the Pussy track. We got the Sunshine, California track. And now we have our, I guess it's the Gangsta Memories, you know, the Rest in Peace to our Fallen Soldiers track. I tell you, though, Lil Eazy his flow is dope on here. He kills it, man. He really kills it. So he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of potential. And the way that, I don't know if I've ever heard, somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Has Cocaine ever been on a track produced by Daz Dillinger? This might be it. And I tell you what, he sounds like he plugged right on in. Like, he just plugged right on in. It's dope. Good chemistry. Cocaine, what can you say, man? He's Cocaine. He does great on this track. The content, the lyrics are dope. I love it. I love the homage to some of our MCs. You can't go wrong with this track. So, all right, what's the next track here? Track number 10, we got You Are Not Who You Are. You got to love the way it's spelled too. You are not who you are. I think it's a dope beat. And I think as long as this is actually Daz, and I think it is, I don't have any real credits to this record, but this sounds like Daz is evolving still as a producer, which is pretty amazing. For somebody who's been in it like 3 decades, is dope. And you can't help but to just sing along with this, you know. Daz has that flow. It's easy to keep up with, and it's dope. Trying to be like Eazy-E, D-A-Z. You know, we got little Eazy-E here. He's flexing, you know. It's dope. His day ones. I'm just going to listen here a little bit here. Okay. All right. So, you know, he's getting this gangsta swag, and I have no idea what Lil Eazy's life is really like. I don't think he's like rich. So I'm sure he has a pulse on the streets, but I don't think he's also doing all the dirt that his dad did and coming up broke. It's an interesting spot to be in. But whatever his life is, the way he portrays it in his rhymes works. You know, it's believable, and it's Lil Eazy-E, you know. If you were to ask me to compare him to his dad, though, you can't compare his dad to anyone, really. His dad, Eazy-E, Eric Wright, was like the definition of like swagger, like the face of gangsta. Like, he was the guy, man. He was the gravity. Like, everybody wanted to hear Eazy-E, see Eazy-E, be Eazy-E. Dude was a rock star. This beat is dope though. I like the hook. This one actually kind of reminds me of some of this Li-Fi lead, but it still sounds evolved. It must be the hook, you know. Is there a Mike Dean in the house here? I doubt it. It's a cool track. Let's go to the second to the last track, Make Believe, featuring Baby Eazy-E. Not to be confused with Little Eazy-E. I love this track, man. I love this track. This is an outstanding beat by Daz. Baby Eazy-E also goes by E3, which I like better. I mean, I like the respect that they give their dad. Don't get me wrong. But I love the originality of just going by E3. He does his thing. I think he's dope. I really want more E3. I followed him on Twitter just to keep up. And he's got some tracks on the SoundCloud I'm going to check out. We'll do an episode on him. We'll check him out. But I'm excited for him if he is going to do anything with his career. Now's the time to get up there, man. You got your name out a little bit. Let's see if you can get some momentum going. That's a big word alert. Momentum. Get some momentum going. I love this hook though. Is it just your imagination or reality? It's dope. Making this shit easy. All right. I'm listening to this song in the back and I'm just kind of singing along with it. But Daz did good on here, man. And like, who sounds more like Eazy-E? E3 or Little Eazy-E? They both have a hint of their pops in their flow. But, nobody can be Eazy-E. It's so hard to mimic his voice, really. But they got a hint of it in there, man. I love it. This song is one of my favorites. I got to say that I want to hear more E3. And man, for somebody who was dissing Easy back in the day, and might I even say, I don't know if he hated Eazy-E or whatever, Daz sure is giving a hand to Eric's kids. Ain't he? Like, look, I know that you follow the money. This isn't a charity album. But if you would have told me that Daz was going to produce a Easy album, Little Easy album, I would have thought, I don't know, maybe. I doubt it though. It works though, man. It's dope. I hope they keep this up. And Daz kills it on this track too, man. I love that Daz is still flowing like this. Like I said, man, his flow has stayed timeless. Maybe his voice has changed a little, but man, Daz raps like Daz. This is a standout track. Let's go to the last track. Rest in Peace. All right, so we got Lil Eazy, Daz Dillinger, Nally, I think that's how you say it, Nally, Nell, and Beefy Loke. Nally is the son of Nate Dogg. That's pretty dope. I don't know who Gumbo Roots is, but I did a deep dive on him, and he's got some features along some albums here and there. I didn't really give him a real listen. I don't even know where he is on this song. Maybe that's him right there. Nah, that sounds more like Nally. Now, Nally, he resembles his dad. He's got his dad's voice more than the Eazies do. Okay, I'm ready for some Baby Easy, Little Easy, and Nelly to make a record. Make it happen, Daz. I'll tell you what, though. I did find this Beefy Loke on Gumbo Roots, which is a DJ Battle Cat album that's kind of rare. I looked on eBay and it was as much as like $200 just to have it. And there's some other interesting features on there, like Peeps. Y'all remember Peeps from the Ruthless for Life track? What song was it? The Pimpin' is Free? I think so. Peeps on there. Very rare sightings of Peeps anywhere on Spotify or, hey, if you got all of Peeps shit, good on you. But I found it on this Battle Cat album. Not to get too much into the rabbit hole, but how did we get here? Oh, I was looking for Beefy Loke, found Beefy Loke on that record where I found Peeps, DJ Battle Cats. There you go. Thanks for following along. I think this is a good way to end the album. It's calm track, it's pretty calm. Feels like something you can blaze up and recollect the old days, reminisce, as they say, or just reminisce. You ever have one of those tracks, where you're just sitting there and it just takes you back, you reminisce on your own life, your own homies, the past, all of your mistakes, regrets, some of the tough drama that you had in your life, I think we all got tracks like that because we all got a life like that. And our lives need a soundtrack. I love this track. The more I hear it, the more I like it. Now it sounds pretty good. Somebody tell me how to really say that name. Nail? Is it Nail? I mean, it's spelled like whale with an N, so I guess Nail. Nate Dogg's kiddo, Nail. No disrespect to Nail. I'm not trying to butcher his name. I think Beefy Loke might be singing at the end now. I bet you that's Beefy Loke. Anyways, if you know more about this record, hit me up in the comments. Send me an email. What did you think of this record? Have you heard it? I'm going to give it a solid 8. I think it's got a lot of potential as something that can grow. I'm talking about, like, where's the sequel? In a couple years, a sequel or the next Legacy album, the Legacy 2. They can grow on this. Baby Easy, bring him in, do something with the Easies. We got Easy's daughter out there doing music. Like, bring her in. Like, is anybody thinking about this? Like, do the Easies just sit at the Thanksgiving table and, like, not even realize that they're all kind of these artists? Like, have you ever thought about, like, just putting the fam together? I don't know what they would call it, Easy Street? I don't know. Don't kill me, man. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Look, the record is dope. It's worthy of a 2023 contender for Album of the Year. It's up there. I would say it's a contender. I'm not saying it is the Album of the Year yet. I think it is a contender. We got MC8's Lessons 2, which is, I think, going to take it. I think it's going to take it as the Album of the Year. But this track, or this album right here, is deserves to be in the conversation. Daz is still doing it big. He is making beats like nobody's business still. He still has the same flow, and sometimes it's even evolved. I gotta say, though, the best compliment that I could give Daz is that he still sounds the same. Like, I don't want to hear an old Daz or a Daz who lost it, A lot of time, these artists who've been in it forever, that they've kind of lost their flow. You start hoping you start wishing that they would go back to their vintage style. And the style that Daz has lent itself to longevity, and that works for him. So good on Daz. The record is dope. Lil Eazy-E, I think this was a great effort by him. I never thought him to be like a real solo artist yet, or a real MC out on the West yet. I've seen him do videos and a couple songs here and there, but I always thought, yeah. Are you gonna do something? Like, I don't know. Like he always stayed on the radar, but that was it. Just kind of stayed on the radar. Now he's got a chance to build on his name and build on his efforts and his rap. That's what he did here. He made a start, and it was a great start. I consider it a start, really. This is where he can blow up from here, and maybe him and Daz can keep working on projects. Maybe he signs to Death Row. I don't know. But, the sky's the limit here, and I'm happy that he's got this opportunity. We could get some more music from him. let's see where it goes, man. And what's up with ruthlessrecords.com? I don't know. Anyways, hit us up in the comments. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Just look for us at Gangsta Rap Odyssey. We do some unveiling or revealings of tapes and CDs and just talk about other shit. Get at our podcast, of course. Share it, man. Share it with your homies on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And New Music Mondays every week. I just get some new music and talk about it, tell you what I think. I don't know. It's hard to get new music from these real OGs. So here we are. Anyways, peace out, y'all. We'll see you next time.